When I was arrested, I thought my life was over. God was about to step in. The changes He brought in the next 5 years amaze me to this day.
The headlines referred to me primarily as the Bonnie Parker of Alabama. I had actually grown up on a farm and learned to shoot as a little girl, going rabbit hunting with my brothers, but later developed quite an interest in handguns and became an expert with everything from a .22 to a .357 Magnum. And my specialty was a double-barrel sawed-off shotgun, which I carried in a very attractive attaché case. One could say that it was almost by chance that I began a criminal lifestyle. I met a man on a blind date, married him 9 days later, and it was actually some 6 months after we were married that I discovered his lifestyle. And according to the FBI, he was one of the best safecrackers in the country. And during our 5-year marriage, he taught me his trade. During the years of my criminal lifestyle, of course, I'd had money. I had traveled. If money could buy it, I could have it. And yet, all during those times, there was a sense that something was missing. I was convicted in 1972 of both grand larceny and armed robbery in the state of Alabama and sentenced to a term of 21 years and a day. Christmas 1972 was my first of 6 Christmases behind bars. And that very first Christmas, I was in the Jefferson County Jail in downtown Birmingham, and I noticed when I arrived that there was a large Christmas tree in the hallway fully decorated with gifts beneath it. I thought initially that those were probably those belonging to the correctional officers, the jailers and wardens, that they'd had a name exchange, but was told that the gifts had been purchased by the body of Christ in the city of Birmingham for those who were incarcerated. For the next 5 years, I began to notice a phenomenon. And I've been accused of many things, among them that I'm very analytical, and I note the process of things. And what happened every year, shortly after Thanksgiving, clear through to Christmas, is that every group known to man comes to prison. And from that I concluded that people have an IRS mentality about Christmas. They have to get their good deeds in before the end of the year. They might not count in heaven. And of course I was somewhat cynical, but they would come to the prison and they would have a little program and sing Christmas carols and give us little gifts, usually a bunch of small toiletry articles, toothpaste, deodorant, that sort of thing. But the next phenomenon I noted was that the women with whom I served time gathered up every one of those gifts. Then I noted that the women would lay them out and sort them in piles on their bunk. And some women would have 3 piles, and some would have 2, and some would have 5. And I think, what are they doing? And then they would trade. They'd say, I'll give you this bar of soap for that bottle of shampoo. And then they would try to arrange each little pile equally, and I continued to watch with interest, and they would wrap them up in bits of colored paper or cloth. And on the visiting Sunday just before Christmas, those were the items they gave their own children. Women in prison don't feel any differently about their children than women outside of prison. And although they had nothing, no means by which to purchase gifts, no means even to go shopping for them, it was still in the heart of each woman to give a gift. My thought was that, oh, this is not going to make the children happy campers, because what child ever enjoys getting a tube of toothpaste or a bar of soap? They would open it up and say, oh, Mama, thank you. And in the heart of a child, love is the only thing that's important. When a child knows he or she is loved, the thing becomes irrelevant. After my release from prison in 1978, I remembered those events but had not really put them together in any cohesive fashion until I became area director for prison fellowship in the state of Alabama. And one of my first assignments was to initiate a Christmas project. Because I had served time in Alabama, I had access to all of the institutions, and simply went and told them, give me the name and address of the people who are caring for your child. We had a number of volunteers who sat down and called them on the phone, and we allowed every child to tell us what they wanted for Christmas. Then I went to the newspaper and I wrote an article to the effect that children are victims of crime. And I explained the project, that we would have Christmas trees in the mall, and they would be decorated with paper angels, each representing a child. And I invited the public to come and buy Christmas for an angel. We started the project the day after Thanksgiving, and within 4 days, all of the names were gone. Well, I had to go back to the prisons and gather more names because we'd run out. There was a total of 556 children, and each child got all 4 gifts, every single one of them that year. The gifts were given in the name of the incarcerated parent because of Jesus Christ. Angel tree presents today are delivered in a number of fashions. In fact, churches sometimes have a party, invite the children there and give the gifts. Sometimes church members take the gifts and deliver them to the home of the child. And then other times there's a distribution center set up, and the caregiver picks them up and takes them home for Christmas morning. I would like to see the day when at least 1 million children receive gifts through Angel Tree Project, because unfortunately there are more than 1 million people incarcerated in this country.